back from the dead.
Ladies and gentlemen, the countdown has just begun. Are you ready? Let's go.
Now we're back from the dead.
I need my Ghost Girl army out there to do me a huge favor because you guys are so awesome. So like a couple days ago on Twitter, Zach was talking about possibly having someone on as a guest on Ghost Adventures. I need you guys, anytime you see him talk about that or, you know, asks who should I bring on, you've got to tweet out at Krystal_Leandra. And maybe with your help, I can get on Ghost Adventures. I know Zach follows me, but it's not a professional business inquiry to ask him to be on the show. So if you guys could do me a huge favor, and if you see him tweet that, get on Twitter really fast, tag him and me, and that you want to see me on it with Ghost Girl Diaries, and favorite each other and retweet each other so that he gets even more notifications. Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. This was actually not planned to be Saturday night's video. It's Saturday morning, and I'm gonna have to edit really fast because I know a lot of you guys watch Ghost Girl Diaries on Saturday night in between Ghost Adventures when it plays. So this was something that I had so many emails and messages from you guys asking me if I was paying attention, and realized that the manager, Krystal Leandra from the Jerome Hotel in Jerome, was fired last week. So the answer is yes, I did know that happened. I was kind of shocked, kind of not shocked. Everybody wanted to know how I'm going to react to it, if I'm upset, how I feel. And so let's just kind of have a little chat about the Jerome Grand Hotel in Jerome, Arizona. So if most of you guys have been following me for a while, you know that my #1 location that I've been to the most is the Stanley Hotel in Estes Park, and that's because I was actually living in Colorado for many years. I'm native to Colorado, so if I was bored, and I was friends with Callie at the time, who was the manager at the Stanley, who was featured on Ghost Hunters, Ghost Adventures, everything else, she would invite me up to go to the Stanley Hotel to do random investigations. The second most popular place I've been to as far as ghost hunting is Jerome and the Jerome Grand Hotel. I haven't just been to the Jerome Grand Hotel. You guys, the entire town of Jerome is haunted, the entire freaking town. So I am very familiar with Jerome in itself. So everyone's like, oh my gosh, did you hear Krystal Leandra, who has been featured on Ghost Hunters, Ghost Adventures, Paranormal Challenge. He was on, what's the Aftershocks with Zach. He was also on the Travel Channel's, I think like Most Haunted America or something. He's been on a bunch of shows as representation of the Jerome Grand Hotel. So the first thing that was brought to my attention was a public post that Krystal Leandra had posted on his Facebook page saying, officially unemployed for the first time in 16 years, told by the owner I have no job with the Jerome Grand Hotel anymore, and if I didn't immediately leave, the cops would be called and I would be escorted off the premises. Oh, did I mention the owner is my uncle? Laugh out loud, shake my head. Oh, and the ghost tours will be canceled and discontinued. Share the news, write to Larry Altier at this address. The second thing that was brought to my attention was the Jerome Grand Hotel itself actually made a public post that said, unfortunately, the front desk manager and the Jerome Grand Hotel have parted ways at this time. We thank him for his years of service and wish him the best of luck in his future endeavors. Thank you for all your cooperation and have a great day. Whoa, that's a lot to take in. So let's just talk for a minute about what does that mean? Where did that come from? Is Krystal shocked? I'm gonna be truthful right now and say that obviously without Jerome, without the Grand Jerome Hotel, I wouldn't be where I am, you know, because Paranormal Challenge is what led me on my path, but that also really more contributes to Paranormal Challenge and actually being cast for that series. So there's always going to be, you know, a spot in my heart for Jerome and the Jerome Grand Hotel. I have been down there so many times, you guys. I've stayed weeks at a time in Jerome. Like I said, it's the second most place I've been next to the Stanley Hotel. Does this shock me? Does this not shock me? It shocks me on one side because, you know, Chris has worked there for 16 years. It is a family-run business. It is, you know, at one point I will say I was very close friends with Chris. We are no longer friends anymore. On the other side, I'm not really shocked. And the reason I'm not really shocked is if you have been to Jerome a lot, or if you're familiar with the family dynamic as they run the businesses that they run in Jerome, unfortunately, they are not shy or new to having public controversy, especially in Jerome or even in the exterior media, because so much media has been brought to Jerome and the Jerome Grand Hotel because of Chris's work, you know, with the haunted hotel. I'm not shocked on one side just because there has been some financial issues going on with that family. They've had to sell a couple businesses. In fact, this is just like a random fact I want to throw out there to you guys. I know I just talked about Jerome like a week and a half ago on another video, but the night that I edited that video and then I pre-posted for it to be pre-posted for you guys, I actually got several calls from friends in Jerome. So I know you guys know of Lonnie and Renee, whom I'm very close with, both of them. In fact, I'm so excited I get to see them next month. And Lonnie just kind of wanted to update me on some stuff that has changed with the Jerome Grand Hotel. So the same owners that own the big hotel on the hill, which is where I investigated at, also owned the old hospital, the old building. That building has actually been sold, and the man that owns it now is trying to turn the ER, the Michael's room where I investigated, the morgue, the surgical centers into apartments. In fact, when I went down there in 2016, it had already been sold. I did actually get to walk through it again, but I realized that the middle floor, which was like the ballroom and then kind of the employee meeting area, it has been since turned into an apartment. But when I say that, I don't mean they put up drywall and made it really nice like apartments. I mean it as in some people literally moved in there and put their stuff on the ground and they called it good. So now when I was updating with Lonnie last week, he informed me that a new couple has since moved into that building and now they are renting out the morgue. They are living in the morgue. And once again, when I say they are renting the morgue out to live in, it is not nice drywall like it is behind me. I'm talking, it still looks the same, which Aaron Goodwin was in the morgue alone, and it's like really dark, desolate. There's still a body freezer in there. Oh my God. Anyway, I guess Jerome, since they have been so publicized for being such a haunted town, basically everyone's moving there and the homes there are through the roof, crazy high, crazy expensive, and there's really nowhere to live because it's still a small town. So what Lonnie said is people are moving there without checking into rentals or, you know, purchases, houses to buy, and once they realize they get there, they can't afford it. And they can't go back. Maybe they only had a one-way amount in, not a two-way amount out. And so they end up staying in Jerome and they have nowhere to go. And the guy that owns the old hospital now is renting out smaller sections of that place to people that can't afford a lot of housing. So I was really shocked by it. I couldn't believe it. So now in the meantime, after I talked to Lonnie and Renee, I had a couple other people call me that I'm friends with in Jerome. From being in Paranormal Challenge, I actually got to know pretty much everyone in the town. I'm friends with almost all of the business owners, and so I had a few other people call me that told me that there had been some conflicts going on with Chris Altier as the manager and his family. Now sadly, someone that was running all of the businesses in the Altier family has passed away, and since they've been trying to shift businesses around, selling locations in Jerome and Like Chris said, his uncle has now taken over complete management or ownership of the Jerome Grand Hotel. This wasn't a shock to me. We all knew, if you were close to them or if you went to Jerome enough, you knew that this was happening. So now when Chris posts, you know, that he didn't really say he was fired. He didn't really say that. It just said he parted ways, both sides of it. But Chris was obviously a little bit more angry and feels as if he was let go after the 16 years that he worked there. You have to take yourself out of the shock value, like remove yourself from the situation, even as a spectator, you know, in the paranormal field, and say, okay, as a business owner owning a hotel such as his uncle, why would I fire an employee? Well, obviously family is family and it should always come first, I agree, but if someone's not doing their job properly, which I'm not saying he was or wasn't, I wasn't there for this happening. But if someone's not doing their job properly, there's a reason that they are going to be removed from that position. I have had a falling out with Chris, and I'm not going to speak of that publicly. All I will say is that I did offer to go down and try to help Jerome become the new Stanley Hotel. So if you're not aware of the high demand and high amounts of dollars that are involved with haunted locations, the Stanley Hotel is probably the largest haunted location that has turned their hotel into a multi-million-dollar business. Yes, I know The Shining is connected to it, but if you even remove The Shining from the image, it is so haunted and it has been so publicized that they do ghost tours, ghost hunts, ghost gear that they sell. It's so many different things involved, and I actually offered Chris to come down to Jerome and help him turn the Grand Jerome Hotel into another Stanley Hotel, basically by offering to come down and investigate, and then he can charge my fans and followers, or fans and followers of Ghost Adventures, fans and followers of Paranormal Challenge, to come in and investigate with me. And you know, the ticket dollar is usually about $200 for an investigation. Unfortunately, the plan never went through. It was never rediscussed. It was never touched back on base again regarding what could we do to make the growth of this, especially when I'm only a few hours away from Jerome, living in Las Vegas. So I will say there's obviously been a pattern of management not fully doing things entirely the way they professionally should have been done. I have no ill feelings towards Chris, you know, but there's obviously a reason that someone's going to remove someone from this position. I am sad in a way because Chris has been the face of the Jerome Grand Hotel for so many years on so many different TV shows, you know, but this isn't a shocker as well. Callie from the Stanley Hotel, she was removed from her position as well after she had been the face of the Stanley Hotel. She was really only known as Callie of the Stanley Hotel, or Callie from the Stanley. And so, you know, she was on Ghost Adventures and Ghost Hunters and everything else. So I don't know why management or owners come in and remove these people that are faces, you know, of the establishments that have been developed. I did hear that the Jerome Grand Hotel is now actually putting their bedrooms of the hotel on Airbnb. And also when I was down there in March, there had been a lot of changes. Previously, the Jerome Grand Hotel had this really creepy kind of asylum vibe. They had these beautiful old antiques throughout, not just the bedrooms, but in the hallways. It was very gorgeous, but it had that creepy asylum feel, and I loved that. I felt like it was the kind of location you wanted to feel that energy from when you're in doing an investigation. They had changed the doorways. They had these really long doorways, which were the old hospital. It would have been like going to the next floor of the asylum in the emergency room. And it had glass windows. And the last time I was in there in March, they had painted over the glass with like mint green and peach color, which was already going against the energy that the hotel is, which is kind of a dark and mysterious, creepy vibe. So I was kind of disappointed that it had changed. I know that sometimes, you know, locations, especially hotels, need a facelift, but I felt like that made it feel different and look different, and I don't understand why someone would ever just paint over windows, glass windows. I just found it to be very strange. It also made it feel very like trapped. Not just because you can't see outside of the glass, but because it wasn't redone with like proper drywall. So I'm not sure if that was Chris as management or if that was his uncle coming in as management taking over. Whatever it was, there was obviously a conflict going on. When I talked to all my friends in Jerome, this actually, it was so weird when I talked to him about a week ago, and then a few days later, he announces that he had been let go. So honestly, I wasn't shocked when it was happening. I had already kind of had the pre-tweet about what was happening there. But there has always been conflict within their family, which is very sad, but it's always been a public conflict as well. If you look at the post that the Jerome Grand Hotel put on their, Facebook page, I don't really understand why that was necessary. It wasn't necessary to announce it. So I found it very strange. It's once again them engaging in public media and releasing that kind of information out to the public and kind of airing their dirty laundry is what it comes down to. The big question everybody's asking me is, will the ghost hunts and ghost tours be canceled? I'm going to be truthful and say that if you've ever gone to Jerome, first of all, you need to go. Second of all, if you haven't been there, the entire town is haunted and the entire town embraces the ghosts, including the government, meaning like the mayor and the governor and all that stuff. So it is well known that the entire town is haunted. Do I think they're going to indefinitely cancel the ghost tours? No. The Stanley Hotel last year, or maybe it was the year before that, 2016, 2015, had announced they were going to also cancel all of their ghost hunts, ghost tours, and apparently they got a lot of backlash for it, and of course they changed their tune really fast and realized a lot of their money came from just the ghost part, just the haunted part. So do I think Jerome is going to do this? Not permanently. If they do, they're just trying something different, which is silly because it's known all over the internet for being one of the most haunted places in America. I feel really bad for Chris, mainly because if you've been to Jerome, it's connected by two other small towns, which is Clarksdale, and then at the bottom of the hill is Cottonwood, and there is no big hotels like that. So because his industry experience of 16 years is in hotel management, I don't know where else he's going to go. Because there's really nothing there. It's so small. So of course I'm going to say to Chris, I hope that you do well. I hope that whatever your future holds, you find what you enjoy and love, and I have no ill feelings towards Chris. Unfortunately, we just had a separation due to the way he handles things professionally versus the way I handle things professionally, and we kind of did have a falling out, but I wish him the best of luck with his future endeavors. So my answer to you guys is partially I'm not shocked, partially I am shocked. I don't really know. What do you guys think about this situation? Are you shocked? Do you think this was a good move? Obviously management has some word in trying, or ownership has some word in trying to change the business for the better. You kind of have to put yourself in the shoes of the owner and remove yourself from the situation of being the shock value. Please make sure you guys give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Make sure you leave me comments below. Tell me what you guys want to talk about next. Make sure you guys follow me on social media. Make sure you tweet at Zach if he wants someone to come on. You have to tag me and Zach in the tweet, okay guys? Shout out to my Ghost Girl Army, and I will catch you guys next time.
Hell yeah.
We're back from the dead. Back from the dead. Back from the dead.